Today's a very, I don't want to call it a milestone day, right? But there's two people that were my role models growing up, modeled a lot of what I've done off of my pops and my Uncle Frank. Thank you for being here.
Well, it's great to be here, man. My story is, as we'll talk about, my story, as everybody's story is, it's day by day, and I think that whatever in business and life and relationships, if you're not willing to reinvent yourself like every day, reinvent yourself being a good father, being a good person, being a good human, being a good businessman, then you're done. Anyways, what's cooking? What do you got for me?
So, start with, I'm going to call it a softball. But so when I think I've told you this before, when I put my notice in the big company I work for, they all were, it was a process of thinking what competitor was I going to?
Right.
Me starting my own firm was not even in the picture for anybody that was at the company I was working for. And people have asked me, like, what gave me the stones to do it?
Yeah.
And I think if I wouldn't have had people in my life that I had seen do it, I wouldn't have known that it was possible. Yeah. So I know you were into sales.
Yeah.
You were in your, and then you, mid-20s?
25.
You and your partner.
Yeah.
What gave you the stones to say, I'm going to do it on my own?
Well, back then, I think that there's a lot of things. One is that I also, the truth is I had your dad. This is not scripted according. I had your dad. I've had many mentors in my life, right? And at different levels. But I had your dad. I mean, I came from a number 7 of 8, a family, didn't come from much. And we're all hard workers. But my brother, who was 10 years older than me, I saw him become very, very successful. And to me, what I got from his success, because he was a business owner, is freedom. But I met 2 men. I worked for 2 companies before I started Column. And they both, one company was probably, one company was maybe $50 million. At that time, it seemed like everything. Yeah. But I met the owners, the founders of them, right? And I worked with him. One guy went door to door on South Michigan Avenue, and I got his story. And when I was done with him, in a very humble way, I said, well, if this guy could do it, I could do it. Yeah. He was at the top of the food chain. And then the next company I worked for, dynamic guy, and I didn't say it. I mean, I would pick their brain, and I said, like, okay, if he could do it, I could do it. I didn't mean it like, fuck it, I'm gonna do that. Yeah. I could do it. Yeah. And I heard their stories. The one guy, he was a barber and he was doing this or whatever, and so it gave me the confidence that okay, like I'm gonna do this. And when I think the difference now and whatever is I go on social media, but I don't, because there's everything about entrepreneurs. Start this, do your side hustle, do this. It's like, holy shit. Yeah. Whatever. God is my witness. When I started my first company, like I didn't do it to say I want to be worth X. I did it because I wanted to create something. Like I wanted to create a company. I wanted to have employees. One of the biggest compliments I ever got was from a guy by the name of Tom Johnson, who's a Harvard grad, built a $2 billion company. He bought 2 companies from me, and he called me. He says, "You're the creator. Because you're a creator. You create whatever." And when I was 25, I wanted to create a company. I didn't do it to say, "What am I going to make?" I wanted to create a company, a culture, a brand, and build a business. And I mean, I knew that the rest of the shit would happen. Yeah. So I don't know if I answered your question.
You did. That was great. So, print office technology, 30 years, you mentioned it. Yeah. That was one of the things that I was going to ask you, because you've had, side businesses and other things that you've done, but you've been an innovator in your space, the NPS model. Yep. How important has sticking in one industry been to your success?
Yeah, I think hey, listen, I think that it's everything to me. I mean, it's been, if's a little word, IF, with a lot of meaning. One of the things I learned early from your dad, that, stick in the same business, because I was, when I was young, I wanted to do this, but even in 2005, in 2004, I sold my second company, and I was 40 years old, and what am I going to get into now? Let me get into sexier business, let me get into that. If you remember, in 2005, real estate was white hot. and everybody was buying something for this, and they double it. And I'm not the smartest guy in the room, but something that's too easy, something's wrong with it. And the industry I'm in, people talk about the print industry, the office technology, and this. It's not the sexiest, but some of the best industries, not a sexy business. When you stay in something, and you're, in me, when you're committed to continuing to learn, that's the key. There's a lot of people that have been in this business for 40 years, and they're dinosaurs. They're dead because this is the way you shut up. So in this industry, first of all, you're never going to get, even through the pandemic. I started my first company right before the Gulf War, and they took our only employee away. So, you could adjust to that. You can adjust to depressions, recessions. 2008, we doubled the size of our company because we just shifted. Then this shit happened with, you can't go to work. Oh, okay. But when you're in this space and it, like I started when I was 21, door to door for 4 years, and then I started the company at 25, so 36 years. So I know the business stone cold. I'm not going to get fooled. And I'm a student of it today. One of the reasons I'm here today is because of you, obviously. I wouldn't be coming here on a Saturday at 3 o'clock when it's beautiful. What the hell? But also, I know talking about this is going to benefit my business somehow. I got a kickoff meeting coming up. What is today? In a week and a half. And I'll use some of this as fuel to remind me why our company's special. But yeah, being in the same industry, and it's not like a perfect industry. You stay in it and you do two things. One is you know the business stone cold, and the other thing, more importantly than that, is you meet people and you develop a reputation. A reputation, man, it's not earned over a month. It could be ruined quickly, but you meet people and you develop a reputation. And if I look where I'm at today, I'm really the same. I'm the same person as I was with the first company to a certain degree. The people that I'm around, I've got a lot more experience, but the people that are around me today, they're not better human beings, they're just more talented. Right? They're more talented people. And they wouldn't join me if I, Frank Gaspari, just started in this industry as, I'm going to get into the print industry. Well, no. So I think it's really critical. And, you said something, by the way, I love the stuff you do on LinkedIn. I really do love it because I think one of the things about it is that I see a lot of people on LinkedIn, and I think I told you this at dinner, they're just wasting time, they're clueless. To use that time to talk to customers, to talk to employees, whatever, but yours is very authentic, and it's relevant what's going on in the business, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know where I was going with that, but staying in this business, and even now, who was I talking to? Think about it today. If you really think about the office technology business, right? We have 35,000 customers from coast to coast, right? Enterprise customers, Fortune 50 customers, but we service their technology in their office. Well, they're not in the office. We found other ways because we are, savants in this space, other ways to provide different value for them or other value for them to keep our business going. Now, if I was at the head of that company and maybe I was in it for 5 years and I was a stuffed shirt CEO, and I had stuffed shirts around me, well, who knows?
Let's talk about a year that just, especially for your industry, there's nothing but excuses for everybody. For you to be able to end 2020 in the spot that you are.
Yeah, man, and it is because, hey, listen, I'm a lot of things. I'm a really, really grateful person, and I know, why I'm where I'm at. It's the people. This year more so than ever. Doesn't matter how good you are. Doesn't matter how talented you are. If you don't got great people around you, especially when you had 1,300 employees when we started the pandemic, I had to rely on, men and women across the country to not listen to the TV and reinvent themselves. And that's when you find out, who you're surrounded with. And the way we built this business is, certainly organic growth, but we acquired, 16 companies in the last 4 years, and we were less interested in, the profits of the company or this and that. We were more interested in the character and the culture and the leadership of the people. And it really served us well because at the end, we had all like-minded people. We had people that were, at the end of the day, really, really were scrappy people, were people that didn't give up. that really cared about their employees and the customers, and we needed that.
Just the way you're fired up.
Well, I'm fired up because I am fired up because getting back to why I love what I do. Yeah. Like I love what I do, and why do I? There's a lot of reasons why I love what I do, but I think it's business is like sports, man. I mean, it's like sports. I mean, I wanted to play basketball. I could barely touch. I mean, I played some basketball back in the day because I took you from school. You got a better jump shot, but no, I think that it's interesting when everyone's got the same, what do you call it? Same playing field.
Yeah.
I mean, this is it. And why do some companies succeed and why do they fail? Hey, I talked to a bunch of the sales folks. What was it, last Friday, and congratulated them on a great job. And they were talking about, as I was listening, they were talking about how they got creative and how they did this and how they got creative. And I talked to them. One of the industries that was really, really, really brought to their knees is the restaurant industry, the hospitality. Yeah. And I read an article back in December that over 110,000 restaurants went out of business, gone. Great restaurants. But then there's some restaurants in states like California and New York that were closed down that somehow thrived, made money, they grew. Yeah. They got, how did they do it?
Yeah.
And that's what I was saying. So they did it. So they were the minority. They were 1/2, 1%. Well, that's us.